Okay, we're under here doing the backs now. We just removed the 2 U-bolts and the plate, and we're trying to interpret the instructions to translate to a floor jack installation as opposed to a lift installation.
I think they're lying.
It might be 17. Yeah, because they talk about jacking up the side of the axle, but then we're trying to figure out how you would actually be able to get the clearance to put the block in there.
I think they're just lifting up on the actual lift itself at that point in time. I think what we're gonna have to do is put jack stands right here, and then possibly put like the jack itself right here just to lift it up that much to slide the block in. Remember, the instructions also say this is supposed to be the easy part.
True. Okay, it's free.
Alright, it's loose. It's gone.
Okay.
And exactly what I thought.
Yeah, so we'll come up with a scenario to be able to get that block in. Alright, this is what Chuck came up with to circumvent the problems with doing this on the floor versus on a lift. We jacked up the center of differential and then used some concrete blocks and a jack stand to get underneath the leaf spring itself, and then dropped the differential to give us the space to put this on. Alright, I don't even know that I can verbalize exactly what we just did. But we wound up taking the U-bolts off of both sides because we had a hard time getting these blocks aligned in there. So we removed both sides. But then the axle was kind of free floating, so Chuck was under one side, I was under the other side, kind of holding it up, and we had to do some modification to our jack placement. So we're now underneath both sides of the axle. You'll see that the block is at least seated in there. It's not totally tight yet, but it's seated. So at this point, we should be putting the U-bolts in the bracket back on, I believe. Oh, and we took the tires off too. Did you notice? So we did that so we could drop the axle further. All right, the new longer U-bolts are in place, and got to put the shocks back on. That would be good. We are finishing up putting the tires on, and on cue it started to rain. Beautiful. All right, so something we did not show in the video was prior to starting, we closed the garage door and we marked the top. Yeah, this was the top. Okay, yeah. So the top was here. Yeah, so so we need to adjust it all the way down to this being on the top. Okay. Yeah, one thing that they don't mention in the instructions is aligning the headlights, because you're now sitting higher, so you could potentially be blinding drivers. So you need to adjust the headlights. And Chuck has shown me the adjusting screws on the bulbs.
You're probably not going to see anything there.
Is that an 8 you said?
Yes.
I have a ratcheting 8. Do you have a?
Yeah, that'd be great. It's going down. It's just it's about as far as I want to go. So I mean, you need it from here to here.
Yeah, that's cool.
There's only so much adjustment in them.
Yep.
But it's definitely. If you don't like the way it is, if you think you want a little bit more because you are sitting higher, sometimes it just doesn't feel right. Then you can just get.
No, I know how to change it. On the far side there that Chuck's working on, there's 2 bolts to hold on the water or the windshield wiper fluid reservoir. I removed those to give some more clearance. And this is definitely an easier job if you have a ratcheting wrench, or if you can get a small socket on there, I guess. Okay, so we're doing a post-lift measuring to contrast with what I did prior to.
In the middle, I'd call it what, 38?
It's just a hair under 38 right there. I went to the bottom of the door handle. Okay, that's now 44 and a half. I think that was like 42.
Just a hair under 38, my friend.
Yep.
So
37 3/4 there.
So what you're saying is the advertised front and rear lift level actually living up to the advertised front and rear lift level?
It appears to be that way, surprisingly enough.
Okay.
That's a good thing. All right, so we're gonna go drive it and see how it sounds, what it feels like. All right, so we just did our test drive, and I didn't really notice anything different other than obviously sitting higher, and that is noticeable, but it drove the same. No vibrations, nothing weird when turning, so that was all good. And we just parked the trucks next to each other. Chuck has a 4-inch lift, where mine was a 3.5, but he also has the much bigger wheels and tires, so his height to the fender was like 41, whereas mine was like 38. So yeah, it looks pretty cool. Oh yeah, from the front you can definitely see the extra couple inches on yours, definitely. All right, so we're doing one final pose by the truck with Chuck. Had some interesting challenges along the way, but we overcame them. Nothing we couldn't handle. And test drive is good. Cindy's coming to take our picture. YouTube dudes. Chuck is an up-and-coming YouTube dude. That's the whole point of it. Because even if you didn't make any money, it would still do it.
Oh yeah. Why did you point it this way?
I don't know.
Why'd you get it this way? Weirdo? Okay, I want to get, the beauty.
Nice.
They're so pretty.
All right, so anyways, Chuck is heading back to Florida somewhere. Well, eventually back to Maryland.
Yeah, 2 days.
2 days. 2 days back to Maryland. So, yeah, it was nice of him to drive. How long was your drive? It's like 1,200 to Pennsylvania from.
About 18 hours.
Well, yeah.
Two
I did
starts.
it straight once. It took me like 19 and a half to go straight.
It took me 18 hours to Sarasota and then another 2 hours down to here. So in total, it's 20.
Oh, okay.
I won't go anywhere until I'm in
I didn't want to.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna stop filming so Cindy can say goodbye. But anyways, big thanks to Chuck. I'll have Chuck's channel in the comments as well as the information about the kit that I installed, and I'll be sure to give you feedback down the road how it is.